Is Jalen Hurts finally proving he's the franchise quarterback the Eagles need to soar to new heights? This in-depth look at his 2025 season up to the bye week will leave football fans buzzing. Let's unpack it all, game by game. Hey there, Eagles enthusiasts. As we hit the bye week, I thought it was the perfect moment to zoom out and evaluate Jalen Hurts' performance through the first 8 contests of 2025. In this piece, I've woven together insights, direct quotes, and crucial takeaways from each of my weekly film breakdowns, complete with embedded clips to back up the observations. It's like stitching together a full season tapestry from those individual threads. I skipped a dedicated Hurts review last off-season, so this also acts as a handy comparison point to my previous thorough assessment of him, which covered his 2023 campaign in a 2024 article. You can check it out here, https://bleedinggreennation.com/2024/129/Eagles film review. Jalen Hurts is still an excellent quarterback, despite taking a step back in 2023. Back then, I concluded that Hurts was still a top-tier signal caller, hindered by an offense that just wasn't built right for him. Fast forward 2 years, and the landscape has shifted a bit. The offense has been spotty, and that's putting it mildly. Yet Hurts appears to be transcending those limitations. But here's where it gets controversial. Is the scheme really the problem, or is Hurts shouldering too much of the blame? Weeks 1 to 3, an electrifying kickoff. The campaign kicked off with what might be one of Hurts' most well-rounded showings ever. Facing off against Dallas in Week 1, I dubbed it one of the best outings I've witnessed from Jalen Hurts. He essentially shouldered the entire offense, repeatedly bailing out broken plays by escaping collapsing pockets. His mobility shone brightly, with numerous plays made on foot. His mental sharpness was top-notch, as he routinely dismissed defended targets and patiently found his safety options. He avoided reckless attempts, stayed composed under fire, and capitalized on Dallas's sloppy rush lanes. Plus, he delivered some stunning long-range strikes. For beginners, processing here means how quickly Hurts reads the defense and makes smart decisions, like choosing a safer pass over a risky one. Think of it as the quarterback's chess game in real time. Week 1 was overwhelmingly positive. His athletic prowess harkened back to his 2022 peak, launching the season on a high note. Week 2 versus Kansas City built on that poise. Hurts excelled against the blitz, maintaining his cool and remaining unflappable under duress. Steve Spagnuolo's camouflage schemes didn't faze him one bit. Gone are the days when free rushers would send Hurts into panic mode. That trait seems to have evaporated entirely. Of course, the offense wasn't perfect. The aerial attack appeared merely ordinary against zone coverage, a foreshadowing of later struggles, with Hurts possibly shutting down deep options prematurely and adopting a slightly conservative approach. Nonetheless, the strengths dominated. His calmness, choice-making, and ability to thrive within the play call were outstanding. Week 3 against the Rams mirrored that pattern. Hurts delivered a solid effort, even as the offense sputtered messily. The opening half featured chaotic spacing, sloppy routes, and zero flow. Yet, Hurts and A.J. Brown essentially commandeered the contest through their sheer talent. Hurts' anticipation shone in moments like his flawless deep delivery to Brown, and his precise timing on a deep intermediate to Devonta Smith exemplified elite precision. I noted that Hurts doesn't receive sufficient praise for his throw accuracy, and that sentiment extends broadly. His reliability on quick curls and short outs from empty formations was stellar, even amidst a flawed scheme. When the offense faltered, Hurts injected vitality. And this is the part most people miss. How one player's brilliance can mask systemic issues, turning potential disasters into victories. Weeks 4 to 6, a notable dip. The Week 4 triumph over Tampa Bay ranks among the season's oddest affairs. The initial half was brilliant. I observed that the opening drive illustrated Hurts' maturation under pressure. Todd Bowles' blitzes used to unsettle him, but here he steadily identified the threats, planted his feet, and fired accurately with an unblocked defender bearing down. The contrast was stark. By intermission, Hurts was an impeccable 15 for 16 through the air. No exaggeration, Bowles is a defensive genius, and Hurts dominated effortlessly. The offense balanced power with creativity, especially in the red zone, where I praised the superb strategy and highlighted Hurts' sharpness on throws across the middle, like a precise seam route to Dallas Goedert as a season-best example. But then, a meltdown ensued. Hurts went ice-cold at 0 for 8 in the latter half, with the offense managing 7 possessions, 5 ending abruptly. The footage exposed a blend of problems. Hurts fluffed a few deep balls he'd normally connect on, while the surrounding structure crumbled. Creativity vanished. The straightforward options dried up. I pointed out that receivers seemed apathetic and sluggish, lazily running routes without generating space. Details in route timing and protection became painfully obvious. Even Hurts' demeanor betrayed irritation after botched sequences. Following that commanding start, this second half hinted at troubling patterns ahead. Week 5 versus Denver was marked by exasperation, though Hurts displayed real progress in critical facets. I remarked Hurts' blitz handling improvement is tangible, as he nailed 8 of 9 passes under fire in the first half, capping with a score. Still, some indecision resurfaced when primary options were covered. As a nimble QB, Hurts seldom improvises dynamically in such spots, and his wariness outside the play design stood out. The offense often stalled, leading Hurts to linger with the ball excessively. Old tendencies re-emerged. The most baffling element persists, his minimal role as a rusher. This remains unchanged, and it's puzzling me. For context, imagine a dual-threat QB who could scramble more to keep defenses honest. That's Hurts' potential edge, yet it's underutilized, sparking debates on coaching strategy. Week 6 against the Giants saw frustration boil over. The offense, in my view, was fundamentally flawed. The structure provided scant aid. Based purely on the tape, this stands. Many plays failed against zone schemes, and even solid designs hit timing snags. Hurts wasn't truly poor. 24 of 33 for 266 yards. But the film unearthed several poor decisions, such as a glaring miss to Smith on a coverage breakdown. Remember that infamous one? Social media erupted, with critics questioning Hurts' caliber. Luckily, he'd rebound strongly. Yet, this wasn't the old-style regression of abysmal play. Hurts stayed poised in empty sets and executed rapid reads when feasible. It felt more like an offense grappling for consistency than a QB underperforming. I consistently attributed more fault to the scheme than the player. But here's where it gets controversial. Could Hurts elevate his game further? Or are we overrating his ability to overcome bad systems? Weeks 7 to 8. Peak performance. In Week 7, Hurts reminded everyone he's an elite talent. Against Minnesota, I called it among Jalen Hurts' career best efforts. His tally of 19 of 23 for 326 yards, 3 scores, and a flawless passer rating matched the film. Throw precision, rhythm, command, and self-assurance were all world-class. He dismantled deceptive coverages effortlessly, decoding defenses and delivering with force. This was against a unit stifling passers league-wide. Nobody else was succeeding. Hurts' resolve shone brightly with superb mental processing. Facing a squad renowned for bewildering QBs, he targeted all depths with impeccable rhythm. His 79-yard play-action bomb to Devonta Smith was spectacular, but the nuanced plays impressed more. I termed the touchdown to A.J. Brown anticipation capitalized, alongside composed pocket maneuvers displaying full mastery. Crucially, Hurts excelled beyond the script, scanning downfield and hurling accurately while mobile. This contrasted sharply with prior hesitations outside structure. Week 8 sustained that excellence, showcasing his recent maturation with pinpoint throws into traffic. He held firm and unleashed a strike to Smith between the numbers, then added an anticipatory release under pressure. The stats: 15 out of 20, 179 yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions, captured it perfectly. Hurts was bold, precise, and impervious to hits. Despite claims he struggles with throws to the middle, the evidence proves otherwise. His accuracy and timing there have quietly become reliable. I summarized. Across these 2 weeks, he's amassed 7 scores without mistakes, playing phenomenal ball. Here's hoping it lasts. Comparing Hurts 2023 versus 2025. In my 2023 recap, I affirmed Hurts as a superb QB, undermined by ailments and a mismatched offense. That season felt like a setback. This one's been inconsistent rather than overwhelming, but it's ascending lately. His development is clear. I'll revisit areas from 2023 to gauge progress. Processing and composure. Then, I stated Hurts has advanced in deciphering defenses and dismissing unavailable options swiftly. Yet, schematic disarray curtailed that growth. Now, his cognitive game has advanced markedly. He's quicker and surer in ruling out non-threats. Hurts analyzes defenses with unprecedented speed and confidence, deep ball and throw precision. Then I described him as an exceptionally skilled deep passer who anticipates and places throws beautifully. Now this endures as his hallmark. His long-range accuracy remains elite, but his overall placement, especially on timed routes and between the lines, surpasses his 2023 form. He's evolved into one of football's most accurate pocket throwers. For example, think of those seam throws that thread the needle under pressure. Hurts makes them look routine now. Mobility and rushing then, injuries curtailed his movement. But I noted, he's still a premier rushing asset when fit. Now, fully recovered, yet coaches employ his legs sparingly. This choice has fueled backlash, myself included, weighing durability against weekly dynamism. When he runs, his speed and awareness impress, but he's far less central to the ground game than in 2023. This selective use sparks debate. Is it smart protection or wasting a weapon? Handling pressure and blitzes then. This drew heavy flack, but I defended Hurts, saying the Eagles' blitz vulnerabilities aren't Jalen's doing. The scheme was dreadful, giving him no shot. Not excusing him entirely, but the setup was unfair. Seems I was right. Now, he's transformed this into a strength. His pressure management has been exemplary. I've echoed sentiments like blitz immune or calmly on target with defenders charging. This might be his biggest annual improvement ever. No surprise to me. Final thoughts, Jalen Hurts isn't in the absolute top echelon of QBs for me, and evaluating him requires factoring his loaded arsenal. Still, he's firmly atop for next level. Honestly, these hierarchies feel subjective, which is why I seldom share them. Folks might skip the details for a number. In 2023, I predicted Hurts could guide the Eagles to a Super Bowl win. I was spot on. Asking if he can do it with this squad? My verdict. Absolutely. For this offensive vision, he's ideally matched. And aligning with the franchise's ethos, responsibility, grit, and guidance, I'd pick no one else. Hurts' blitz growth is remarkable. His accuracy and placement are steady, and his middle field comfort is emerging. He's an exceptional QB. When drafted, I doubted he'd reach this. I underestimated his competitive fire, leadership, and character. Since taking the reins, Hurts has anchored the Eagles' most prosperous era. He's more than a QB, he sets the team's culture. A motivator, a victor, maturing into the leader needed. Above all, his resilience and self-accountability shine. He refines his craft annually. Hurts' journey is why the Eagles stay competitive year-round. Certain athletes are just built to win. Thanks for sticking with me. I'd love your take. Do you agree Hurts is evolving into an MVP? Or is the offense holding him back more than we think? Drop your thoughts, questions, or debates in the comments. If this resonated, explore my other analyses and podcast at https://go.redirectingit.com/xcust SB1031AW16238 ID 66960X164758 URL linktr.ee/eppn referrer sbnation.com www.bleedinggreennation.com/20204/Eagles Film Review Like Offense ZA referrer sbnation.com/C Eagles Film Room